And it does sound like we've resolved that tech issue, so we will be able to get into game and maybe see that specialized build onto Sun.
Well, let's see. For Korea, they are going to be on the blue side, as they did opt to stay blue after the coin flip, after they had that. So they'll have priority when it comes to the first pick. But let's see what they don't want to play against, what they don't want to see from Chinese Taipei wildcard.
They banned out Teamy, a very solid first ban. The big thing with Teamy is that his Resurrect nullifies a lot of pressure. You can run very, very lightweight, high DPS characters that you would normally instantly focus and be safe in the knowledge that you have the ability to resurrect them if they go down.
Coming out here from the wild card, though, it is going to be the Lindis ban. You know, she's very powerful at the moment, so a pretty solid pickup.
Lindis just sustained damage throughout the team.
Oh, yeah.
If a Lindis is hovering at the back of the team fight, your team wins the team fight, especially if she's been built up in the jungle the entire game.
Now for Korea, getting rid of the Arum, so not going to have that tank and the pick potential available on the side of Chinese Taipei wildcard.
Yeah, none of these bans are targeted yet. Both of these bans are simply characters that are very, very good.
Hey, you know what? Get rid of what's popular, what you consider maybe a little bit OP, was a little too easy, I guess, to execute on. Because, you know, Teamy can just run on in there, has the resurrection, too, when it comes to those later fights. So Korea says, you know what? We want you to stay dead. We don't want to deal with you once we've killed you once already.
So what I'd still like to see banned, primarily, I'm alarmed that Superman's not gone yet. He will presumably have to be banned just because he is quite possibly the most powerful character in the game as of yet.
Okay, so...
Okay.
Oh, so TJ, that isn't a graphical glitch right there. Chinese Taipei wildcard, they have just not banned for their second round.
Do you think that's an error? Do you think they just didn't click in time?
Okay, for me, there is a possibility here that is they...
Were they that confident? We don't even need bans.
What this forces now is for Korea to have to, I guess, pick the lesser, pick the evil here. Because for Chinese Taipei wildcard, maybe there's something, maybe there's options they want to leave up on the table. Korea did opt to ban away the Flash wildcard, banned away, of course, the Superman, and Korea is going to start things off with the Omen lock-in.
Zenial, Malik comes through. Maybe those were the characters they were trying to force through. The Zenial is certainly something I would have expected to be banned out. I talked it up a lot in the last series. Maybe that's the result they were looking for.
Oh, TJ, you see that hover and it gets locked in. Let's go, boys.
I get my Grak. I get a Crixie as well. It is my birthday and I'm so excited. The new high damage glass cannon Crixie coupled with the infinite CC machine that is Grak. The jolliest of boys will be there in the front lines defending the pressure all game long. And that is so good comboed with the Crixie because it's going to make it very difficult to get to her in the middle of team fights.
For those that don't understand why TJ is so excited about this, he's been pretty much maining the hero since E3, so see it get locked in there.
May have tanked when I started maining Grak.
Yeah, you know, the win percentage went from 50 to like up. 35.
My happiness percentage is at 6,000.
Oh, you're
ecstatic.
And you can't
stop me.
And for Chinese Taipei wildcard, you know, what do they try and respond with? The Tulin and the Mina getting locked in.
Yeah, Mina is something we don't see terribly much. But especially if we see it kept with this flicker, I like it. Because Mina's ultimate Dark Dominion is a taunt, meaning anyone within its AoE needs to be hit by it.
That's something we usually actually saw a little bit more on the Valor series from Western teams. We don't see it too often from the Eastern teams.
So, coupled with the flicker, you can actually jump into the middle of a fight, blink in, and instantly land the ultimate, pulling people towards you and nullifying a section of the teamfight. If, for instance, there's a ton of damage that's looking to come out or a good CC combo, you can shut it up instantly with that combo.
All right, TJ, final lock-ins coming in from Korea. Your thoughts?
Fennec's odd.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Charganar is viable, but certainly not what we see a ton of. The Fennec is odd. He's a stun-focused character. Basically, he can do a ton of sustained damage on the marksman, but more importantly, he's got a spear throw, which is very long-ranged, and it will do more stun the longer range the spear is.
And it is a very long stun, especially for Arena Valor. It is a long time. You get hit by a max-range spear, you're stuck there, and you're just going to get bursted on down.
So, the engage pattern I think I'm seeing is starting with that Fennec. You find a good spear throw, engage, you have the frontline Charganar, and then the Grak can come in at this point. Even though he's slower moving, he'll have an opportunity to land a major hook. The other thing you're going to have to watch out for is that combo of Rush and J-Jack. If Rush is in the jungle, J-Jack can just sit with him. use that constantly with the hook and pull in anyone who gets stunned by the spear throw.
Well, this is a playmaking duo here. They can go lane to lane or that, even go for an invade. You catch out this Violet, she is going to be in a dangerous spot.
Yeah, this is a danger combo, and I really like it.
I'm loving it from Korea. I was not expecting this.
We were talking about the Asian regions perhaps having different strategies, exciting new innovations. This is that.
Hey, that's why these are some of your strongest regions when it comes to Arena of Valor. Trying to innovate, trying these new setups, and trying to catch, you know, your opponents off guard. And maybe, hey, maybe Korea's looking at this team. They're saying, you know what, guys, you know, you're a strong combo, you got a strong team, but this is what we want to play. This is what we want to try out when it comes to game one.
His earrings are really nice.
Like you said, these guys, they're fan voted for a region, TJ. They're pretty awesome.
I really like the fact that we do see this experimentation from Korea, but I worry that maybe it's not going to be enough. Maybe because you're trying all these things, you get in trouble.
Well, guys, let's get set. It's game one between Korea and Chinese Taipei. Wildcard, our two heavy hitters, one of our exciting matchups when it comes to the group stage on day one. Let's see if the action's going to take place. J-Jack a little bit off with the hook.
Already, damage coming through from Hawk. Watch his poke into these bushes. It's going to be so good at maintaining control. Sun is staying in the bot lane while both teams just solidly invade. It's going to be the Zenial doing that, opposing them.
We'll see there. Korea goes up. Take away the Might Golem. Meanwhile, of course, Chinese Taipei wildcard going to do their own. A little bit of a delayed take there on the side of Korea. A little bit slow, but they do look for it. Look at this. Actually, the push-up that came in from 1-1 is able to just jump back underneath his tower. J-Jack is still waiting in the wings. They're going to land the hook into the smear. But look at the damage. It's just not there yet, TJ.
But that's already the combo I was talking about. And imagine if they managed to land that Death's Beacon from Chaser as well. That is a devastating trio, and we're just getting started.
Look here, though, for Chinese Taipei wildcard. Looking to maybe make a play here onto Sun this time around. You know, he does have the ability to go pretty tanky, but he doesn't have as much mobility as we usually see on that, like Tara.
Yeah, he hasn't selected Tara, but one of the reasons I think he might succeed on Jargoner is because of the ultimate Chaos Protection. So basically what it does is it makes him immune to CC for a long period of time. So as the Jargoner, if he overextends and they try and punish, if he's tanky enough, he can just leave.
Looking to position themselves toward this mid lane. They just want to find a pick. This is something that we were expecting a little bit more. These are two teams that will play this game out a little bit slower. They won't go for the risky plays right away. You know, we looked at the boot camp. There's actually a game with Chinese Taipei wildcard where they just took a 10,000 gold lead without getting a single kill, and now they want to start up this Abyssal Dragon.
This Abyssal Dragon is going to likely be the first engage point of both teams. Liu Yao is already zoning, trying to set up control for Chinese Taipei while Korea pushes in.
Spear's a little bit wide there. J-Jack came around the corner. You do see Wildcard is keeping that Abyssal Dragon aggro. It's not resetting, and it looks like they'll be able to take this scot-free. Korea's not going to go for the play just yet. Now piling on
Hawk.
in. Abyssal Dragon was taken on down. Hawk is going to get taken down as First Blood goes in favor of the Wildcard.
J-Jack and Rush consider working on a combo there. J-Jack thinks better of the idea. That's not a fight you want to take. 2v4. You should count your blessings that you got away underneath the Malik pressure.
Like that, that's going to be a 1,000 gold lead in favor of the Wildcards. Let's take another look at how that broke down.
You can see Liu Yao pushes forward, and they instantly find the stun. J-Jack's hovering. He's thinking, should I go for the hook?
Should I? A little risky. A little risky.
We should be happy we got away. You back off, you stay safe, and that's rare from Korea, a team that is normally so aggressive. And it's, I think, a sign of how seriously they're taking this match.
And on top of that, if you find those fights, especially in the jungle around a choke point like that, that shock is just so wide. It's so big, it's really hard to get away together as a team. Once you get split up, then you get isolated and just taken on down by your opponent. So a nice start here. Let's see if they can continue it. It looks like, though, Korea wants to answer up toward this top lane. 1-1 is absolutely stuck. He has nowhere to go, and Korea will find their first kill.
There's that first sign of aggression from Korea. They'll play this grouped combo just like we saw there, and you can see it's still working. They try and catch out Hua Lin.
You saw J-Jack there. He was ulting. It looks like he was holding on to the flicker, but that did allow Korea to secure themselves the first tower of the game, and that is their play often of the time. They like to take towers. They like to get the map control.
Yeah, he didn't need to actually find that World Devour because the threat of the World Devour flicker combo is so deadly.
But look at this. J-Jack and them get caught out. This was the duo that need to roam together and find CC, but if they get grouped up upon, the wildcard team is just going to be able to rip them to shreds.
Chaser, though, in the meantime, this constant aggression will come through from the Omen, as many Omens, they're getting counter-aggressed in on, though.
Sun, though, I've seen this one before, but he won't be able to escape. And man, kill counter's starting to climb here, TJ. That's a 1,500 gold lead at 4.5 minutes.
Sun built the Null Cleaver as his first complete item, but he's sitting, I think, with the Phoenix tier, trying to build himself an Orb of the Magi. That's going to be a damage-focused build for the Charcanar, not really playing to the strengths we've seen from Sun in previous games.
Chinese Taipei wildcard, they're going to go ahead and pick up their first tower of the game in the bot lane, and just in time, the Abyssal Dragon around the corner.
And, well, they're going to go for it. Chinese Taipei have the control, and Korea is cowed, forced to play already behind their towers. That's not what you want from them. I'd really like them to rotate up and support Chaser in the top line.
And we talked about this. This is kind of a playmaking style of composition when you have Rush and J-Jack roaming together trying to find plays, but it looks like Chinese Taipei wildcard, they're just going to group up and go for Sun, and this is something that teams often don't do, is try and punish Sun for his over-aggression.
Oh, 1-1 though, in a lot of trouble. There's that Death Back and Death Embrace combo. They waited so long.
Trying to use the ultimate, but he gets pulled on back.
Beautifully done. Zanyo is here. He is here in time to see his teammate go down, but there's nothing you can do against that well-executed a gank. Because obviously that Angelic Splendor ultimate is going to come through. That's why they have the Death Back and the Death Embrace used first, and then they have a hook ready to interrupt it.
So like that, they're able to pick up a kill in top lane, but they do lose out on the Spirit Sentinel, still finding themselves 3,000 gold behind and maybe looking for a dive onto Chaser.
Chaser is in a lot of trouble. There's no sugarcoating it. He doesn't have the allies nearby, and his allies aren't coming. Instead, they're focusing towards this mid lane area.
But like that, the tower gets taken on down. There's still no response, though, in mid lane. Maybe they go for this engage, but look at this. Four members are coming on down to try and catch out Korea. That's going to force them to have to play back and go down to the south side of the map.
Yeah, they may actually get this bot lane tower with the
Fennec there. They really need to decide here. Are they going to commit fully to this, or are they going to get collapsed on? They do at least take the tower, or even are able to trade up 2-2. This is a little confusing, TJ. This is not what we were expecting. This seems chaotic. Seems like Korea don't know what to do. Zanyo goes down pretty low, but he does have the Zen coming back into the fight. Does provide the safety.
Korea still look to be in control, though. Even when it is as chaotic as that, they have the bot lane pressure. Yes, they went for the mid lane, and no, they didn't find the tower, but they got a decent amount of damage onto it and the bot lane for free. So I would argue that's 1.5 for 1 in terms of the tower trades, and therefore in their favor.
Still sitting about 2,400 gold behind. Sun's going to clear out the wave, but this is going to be the third Abyssal Dragon if Chinese Taipei can secure it for themselves. Sun is there. He has the punish available. Won't be able to steal it away. Does Korea find the hook? And JJ is able to land it, and that's the Violet on down. That's a lot of sustained damage. Not available for Chinese Taipei wildcard, and Lu Yao needs to run away. Hua Lin still underneath, and Rush is just going to take him on down. Korea find 3 members.
That was control abilities for decades. I'm pretty sure you could find a statue of Hua Lin because he's been petrified permanently. Archaeologists are going to find him in a few years.
Gonna be still pretty much just stuck there in mid lane, unable to go anywhere.
Death's Embrace, into World Devour, into Devil's Chains, and there's another one of those.
J-Jack able to land it, but it is onto 1-1, and he only has Sun around, so they're not able to do a lot of damage, but still, that push coming in from the side. Rush's gotta be a little bit careful. He was taking a lot of towers. Meanwhile, though, top lane was secured by the Omen.
That was a good mean ultimate there. The Dark Dominion coming through, forcing Rush to play underneath the tower. If he'd gotten even a tiny bit more damage, you would have had one more tower shot and likely the kill. But you're just playing smart if you're on the Chinese Taipei side. You want to stay safe for now.
But now Korea has evened up this gold, evened up the kills, got themselves some towers. They're just not able to secure the Abyssal Dragon. They've kind of let that one go to the wayside, instead opting in onto these towers. And that's what we were talking about earlier. You know, the Chinese Taipei wildcard team likes to play around the river, likes to try and take control of the jungle and use that to enhance themselves with gold and experience. Now the question is, how can they translate that into these fights? And man, J-Jack, he's been landing a lot of these hooks, and he's just a hair off in most others.
I really like the pressure from J-Jack. This is exactly what you want from a good crack. I think we have a good crack here.
Yeah, this is usually not what I see when you're playing it.
Oh, come on!
Ooh, I'm sorry.
I've landed at least 2, 3, 4 hooks a game.
But meanwhile, though, Korea do find themselves a pick in the midsection of the map and now get themselves a 6 kill for themselves, and maybe looking for a little bit more, because Rush is going to come on over. 1-1 doesn't have a whole lot of room to work with, and he'll get taken on down.
I love that from Rush. He just knows exactly where his target's going to be. Lands the spear from Rage. There's
World
another
Devour.
good combo.
J-Jack, he flickers on in. He wants to keep on going. Shock comes on down, but Korea are able to reposition. The knock-up is there, and J-Jack running a little bit low. Still no members falling. You can see that CC, though, from Korea.
The damage this Crixie is doing is insane. His build is Orb of the Magi into Boomstick. That's it. And he's already doing all that.
Now for the wildcard team here, TJ, what's your plan? You're starting to see it slip away a little bit. Korea starting to now group up together, get themselves some towers for themselves, and also their first Abyssal Dragon of the game is starting to get control of that river.
I think if you're playing defense against this Korean side, you need to stop playing defense. Because so long as you're inside your own jungle, this is going to keep happening. The roaming duo is going to keep finding individual members and pick them off. So instead, group up and push out. Lock down the major objectives. Keep the gold game close, because you're getting every single Abyssal, which they have but one to the date.
Do you see that on the minimap there, TJ? That's a
really?
Dark Slayer. No one is here from wildcard to answer this.
This is what we talk about when we say map control. If you don't have the map control, if you don't have the awareness to know that somebody can go for Dark Slayer, that happens to you.
And we talk about river control. That's usually something for Chinese Taipei wildcard, and they've let it go. These towers now don't give them any safety. And they're starting to play a little bit more collective, a little bit more calmer. But without that aggression, Korea can just look to roll over you. Hook is going to land. That's going to force the flicker out. The shock comes back in for the re-engage, but Sun is still pretty tanky. Chaser's over here on the corner. That tower isn't long for this world, and Korea are going to start moving forward as J-Jack is able to land the World Devourer. Hack takes down the Violet, and now multiple members starting to fall. J-Jack almost getting another hook.
Chaser hard commits at the beginning of that fight to land the Death's Embrace onto Zanyo. Because of that, they're able to shut down the Violet before the fight even begins. The biggest chance for doing damage is gone just like this.
You cannot hang around a tower that close to J-Jack. Minions starting to pour on in. This could be game one. Korea, they're just going to go for the core. The knock-up is there, but 1-1 cannot clear him out, and game one is Korea's.
He attack, he strike back, but most importantly, he crack.
I'm liking it.
Crack absolutely defines that game, and I loved every second of it.
For Korea, after our long pause, were able to get themselves together, take game one. You can see the team there, you know, for Chinese Taipei wildcard. This is looking a bit similar to what we saw during the boot camp, where Korea were able to 2-0 them.
Yeah, I mean, Korea win this match on paper. That was not what I had on paper, though.
No, that looked like, you know, 70-30 odds.
That was usually a diorama. There was at least 3 dimensions, maybe 4 dimensions to that play.
Are they playing 5D chest?
Arena of Valor is
that too.
Definitely 5D Arena of Valor. I loved the combo. They were able to do that entire series. You can see plenty of it here. J-Jack and Rush, this duo staying together even in defeat, and definitely in victory.
That was one of our big concerns. You know, it felt like they were falling a little bit behind, but the team grouped back together and kept finding picks like this.
Yeah, Chaser also a big MVP for me. He's always such a cerebral player. He makes very, very smart calls, and here that was no different. This fight especially, watch Hua Lin, he just gets Death Back and Death's Embrace. Sure, Chaser may die for it, but he doesn't even chase this kill. All that is for is to shut down the Tulip. make sure that Wallin cannot find the damage his role should find. Here again, Chaser dives deep into the fight and manages to find the kill onto Zanyo. Hack gets credit, but really it's the Omen with the pressure.
Yeah, for me, Zanyo, he was on this Violet, but we never really got to see him, you know, kite out these fights. He was often the one getting hooked back into the team and getting isolated and got taken down on a couple of these fights. You can't let that happen, and that allows game one to go in favor of Korea. You can see they were feeling it. They're like, yeah, we were waiting to play this game for like 15 minutes. There we go, boys.
That's how I feel when I play Grak as well.
Hey, they played the Grak.
It's a ridiculously fun character. If you're sitting there and you're like, man, I want to play Arena, you should play Grak.
He has hooks.
Yes.
He has the World Devour.
Yes.
Which is just a sick ultimate name on top of a sick ability.
Yes.
And he also wins games.
You don't need to convince me.
I know, I'm not trying to convince you, TJ. I know you love this hero.
But you know what else I love?
What?
The blue side of Arena of Valor.
Yeah, and that's going to go...
Easily my favorite.
That's going to go in favor now of Chinese Taipei wildcard. They have opted to take the blue side. You like that segue? It was all right.
Easily one of my best topic transitions.
Hey! I'm feeling it. Now...
I think that... well, that man's
You can
face
tell,
says
you
it
can
all.
see they feel a little bit defeated. They need to get their mentality back here, TJ, because you only get one more chance to tie up the series. That or Korea just 2-0s you.
This is a set that means everything, because the control you get of your group if you beat Korea is massive. The pressure is somewhat off.
And on top of that, too, once you head into the knockout stage, it's either versing a second seed team or that first seed team that's coming out from another group, because you often will see, you know, your first place take on a second place. And that's the difference between possibly taking on Thailand or, you know, NA, depending, you know, how things pan out. We're going to get into our second pick and ban phase on the side here for Chinese Taipei.
He has a notebook, and then his buddy has a bigger notebook.
So you know,
no wonder Korea's winning.
they got the mind games. They got the game plan already set. Taking a look at our ban, Zen going to be off the table, and Aram once again.
Yeah, once again, typical bans. The Zenial wasn't banned last game though. Yeah. And so the shift towards, yes, a more typical ban, but a definite one is huge. And Chinese Taipei, in that notebook, they've written, Chaser, stop him.
Yeah, don't let him get an Omen. There's still a couple other heroes he could take if he wanted to have a little bit of that carry and that split pressure, similar to an Omen. We'll have to see, though, for Korea. Got 10 seconds here on what their second ban is going to be. What do they not want to play against? What worked, TJ, during the last match for Wildcard?
I mean, not much. I want to see the Malik again. I really liked how they played the front line when they could hold it, but so much of what happened to them was an instant pressure beyond their front line, melting their key players, their key damage characters. So I look, actually, yes, you banned one of the characters that was doing that in the form of the Omen, but I look for what you're picking up to prevent that from happening again.
All right, for Korea, their second ban came in. It was the Flash, so we're not going to be able to see him once again. For Chinese Taipei wildcard, going to be the Teamy on the blue side ban.
Still up.
Yeah, Superman's still up. This is a hero that often these Eastern teams will, you know, decide to deal with. But Korea, they said, no, not again, no.
If you have the Omen, Superman is a piece of cake, according to various Asian teams. They will be entirely okay playing Omen into Superman because they think it's an easy shutdown. But they don't have the Omen this time because of the ban from Chinese Taipei wildcard, so they're going to ban out the Superman as well. And this leaves us with a very standard character pool. These are bog standard bans. This is a swamp of bans.
Well, you know what is up, TJ? The Lindis, and it's going to get locked in first thing.
And that was removed last time. It's not usual to be banned. It's a very powerful character, but most of the time you figure you can deal with it if you have ranged poke or dive.
Oh, Korea, are they thinking about it once again? J-Jack had a pretty good performance on it in game one.
I've been thinking about that all since the draft of the last game. Never left my mind.
Oh.
Grak's just been on it.
He's in every draft now for you.
Yes.
Like, everybody's picking it.
I should hope so.
Hey.
Can you imagine a 5 Grak team? It'd be incredible for me.
I know it'd be incredible for you. I don't think a lot of people would enjoy it to play against it. That would seem quite annoying.
I've got an idea for a new limited time mode.
Oh no. TJ making game modes. Get him away. Guys, don't come back in onto the stage and talk to him about this idea, please.
So, the Malik pickup here, if they go for it, is interesting for me because that's 2 tanks. And I just said I want to see maybe the Malik again, a bit more tankiness out of Chinese Taipai to prevent the deep backline dive. They don't get that.
No. This time, though, they're going to go ahead and take away the Kritsky, but, you know...
Is it Kritsky because it constantly gets crits?
Kritsky. Oh, my... My bad.
Kritsky is a very powerful glass cannon character, and it's certainly a good pickup, but they're still not solving the crucial problem I highlighted. Chinese Taipai does not yet have a front line.
And this is important because for them, they need to win this game if they want to get out of groups in that first slot. Because honestly, Korea right now, it's looking like they're going to stick to the same game plan we saw last time.
I don't like this.
It doesn't seem like you're enjoying this because that timer's ticking and it looks like it's going to be the Mina.
Mina does not make me happy. We saw a bit of it last game. Yes, there were 1 or 2 good plays, but there's a reason she's not considered one of the main meta tanks. That's because she just doesn't have the field of impact that many other tanks do. She's weak on control abilities and HP pool.
For Korea, though, you're looking at this. What do you want to pick up here, TJ? Because you got the tanks already down.
A little bit of punish.
A little bit
Violet,
of punish.
maybe. Liliana, certainly there as well. Just give me characters you can farm up that will follow through, and then what's Sun playing is the follow-up question.
And sometimes you don't even get to know that answer usually until the very last second because Sun, he just plays how he wants.
Meta characters.
Yeah,
so
he wants to play what he wants.
It's very rare that Sun is challenged because he can play a variety of characters in that bottom lane, so he'll be happy. The question is what's in jungle for me, and it is a marksman, not a Violet, instead Fennec coming through.
The combo did work a little bit toward the later half of the game. It is going to get locked in, so that duo, once again, going to be roaming around, maybe trying to find some picks. They need to actually, though, get the kills or get the objectives off those picks.
Yeah, and that is something Korea did so well that last game. Every single time they found an objective, they turned it instantly into a tower. That's what you expect from them.
Now looking toward Chinese Taipei wildcard. Maybe looking at a tank of their own, another front line to go alongside with that Mina still.
Oh, surely not.
Oh, that would be...
Oh, surely not.
I do not believe it. I don't think it's still... They still got 25 seconds, so I don't think it could. I don't think it's the most optimal play, though, especially when you're facing possible, you know, losing out on your group here.
I would be very startled if this... Okay,
okay. That gets changed there.
I knew they were... This Crash still is a little bit off meta. Crash is something that we see occasionally, but it's not considered main. It's certainly not a bad character, though, and I actually kind of like it in the specific matchup. The big thing Crash does, of course, is he has this main ability, his ultimate Metamorphosis.
Oh.
When he pops Metamorphosis, the big wave comes out the front, and anyone knocked back against the wall will be stunned. So if you have a dive comp coming through, or you need to mount a rescue effort, it's very powerful at setting up a fight.
It's kind of in response, actually, to this combo with J-Jack.
Possibly,
and,
yes.
You know, picking off those characters, trying to have something in case someone does get hooked on back. Sun.
He's rolling a D20.
He's honestly just been keep going through these picks. We don't know what he's locking in yet.
He's at the end, but he's just rolling a D20 because he's got so many options. He can do anything.
Well, having that available, having the ability to get across the map for a fight could be beneficial for Sun because often he likes to just keep pushing out that side lane and then joining in on the fights. Usually never, because he usually just runs away from 3 people trying to, you know, collapse on him.
Looks like we've settled on that Max, which definitely is a good character. We'll give them the global movement. They can have Sun on that dedicated push in the bot lane and still rejoining the fight when the time comes.
Well, it's a pretty, you know, tanky line here coming in for Korea. We'll have to see whether or not they can execute, but you're now seeing these comps here, TJ. You know, what's the plan? What does Chinese Taipei wildcard have to do in the early game that they, you know, didn't do in game 1?
Keep the Crazy alive, keep the Lindis alive. If you can do that, they win. Because that is more damage than Korea has. The Fennec will struggle to match damage with the Lindis, and the Liliana does not have enough damage as Crixie. If the Crixie can back up, stay safe, rein in the AoE, rein in the big damage from the Nature's Demise, that will win them fights. But the big problem is going to be there is so much dive potential, there is so much focus potential again from Korea.
Looking to go underneath those towers, or, you know, once again from J-Jack, hook them into the team and just swat away, bat away at them until they are done.
That's a sick suit.
Hey, he's looking pretty good, and Korea is looking pretty good, TJ, because they are just the one win away for likely securing the top seed out of their group with this win over Chinese Taipei Wildcard.
Oh. The two coaches hugging it out in the middle of the field, because what else could you do with a match this close, with a game that means that much? Both coaches have to just be crossing their fingers and hoping.
You know, they got one behind there saying, I'm being really nice to you, just try and get you some karma.
I like to think it's sincere. Why do you have to find the negative thing?
I don't know. You're the ones you said finger crossed, man. Either way, it's going to be game 2 between Korea and Taipei, Chinese Taipei wildcard. Needing this win to keep their series hopes alive. Korea want to finish this one off with a quick 2-0.
Korea, speed is the answer, I think. You say quick 2-0, they need to find that aggression again. J-Jack already not finding so much speed, but stalling out the opponent. Grabbing that mic buff like that slows down the pace of play.
You see, Rush has already finished off his buff and looking to keep going through the jungle. So, you know, if you just delay that Lindis just a little bit or even apply some pressure, J-Jack gonna land that hook back onto NT. Hack is there, but still a little early to try and blow down this Mina.
Apply hook directly to forehead.
Hook directly to forehead. Follow that up with a magic ball of death.
Yeah, blinding light, shining light, good combo because they're both AoE abilities. So if you can find a hook, if you can pin a lot of people in a tight area, then you can just use the Liliana to burn up that area. It's an AoE burst in a way that quite a few mages have.
Absolutely love J-Jack because he likes to just stick around the bush throughout this mid lane and try and find, you know, a wacky hook from an odd angle. Maybe trying to take out Wei Lin. Still though. Walin. Apologies. Instead though, goes back up toward that top lane. Looks like Chinese Taipei wildcard maybe looking for a play here towards the top side of the map.
Yeah, Sun's actually in the top lane, which is not what we expect, but it makes sense matchup-wise.
Oh, 1-1, gonna start the engage. Sun a little bit low, and that's gonna be first blood going on to 1-1.
Sun is a player who does die quite a bit because he plays so aggressive. Oftentimes his risks pay off, and you notice when they do, but you also notice when he just gets caught out like that because he's playing a tiny bit too far forward, and in this case, it may cost his team the Abyssal Dragon.
You do see Abyssal was brought out there by Chaser, trying to start up the aggro. Spirit Sentinel will be secured by Korea on the top side of the map, so they get themselves a little bit of gold, but still down that 500 to begin things off at 2 minutes. See whether or not they still want to apply pressure toward this Abyssal Dragon. You see Wildcard, they're grouped up together, they're looking for a play.
The thing that Korea did to stall out this Abyssal was Chaser walked up and actually used his Soul Eater, which does almost no damage. Gave him a little bit of shield. They're doing it again here at Hawk. Just tag the Abyssal, kite it away. This forces the Abyssal to reset, and he's regenerating all the way back up to max before he hits his base position, which means that this early on especially, Chinese Taipei just simply cannot get the Abyssal until Korea say they can.
Sun walks into lane, he spots out 1-1 from the bush. Still though, multiple members from Wildcard starting to position themselves toward this top lane. They want to try and catch out Sun. He's just underneath the tower this time. He isn't even pushed up, but looks like the call is going to be made.
He's just leaving. Bye!
But the rest of the Korea is arriving. 1-1 gets on over to the wall. J-Jack is going to join on in. Hack comes on over. A beautiful hook coming out from J-Jack. What was that? 2 kills coming in favor of Korea.
That is insane. Beautifully read by Sun, knowing when to back off. The Eclipse doesn't last long as they instantly have the rest of the team there.
And Korea looks like they've just turned on because now they also find a kill up in that top lane on a 1-1.
Sun taking the advantage, they find these 2 kills. Many teams would instantly try and turn that into an objective. Say, okay, let's go get Abyssal. Korea, this team says, let's find another kill.
Now let's take a look back on the previous play because J-Jack, that hook was ridiculous.
And I'd like to highlight Hawk as well. It wasn't as obvious. He was actually playing pretty defensive. That's a defeated side.
Oh man, you're feeling bad.
So Hawk was actually playing pretty defensive. He was dealing with the first kill that they found, and instantly, as soon as that hook comes through, he has a blinding light coming in and stunning the new target.
Oh, J-Jack, he was trying to hook back that Might Golem once again. Do not find it, though. Still, gold pretty close. Korea with a slight advantage. 3 members toward the mid lane, looking for the pick onto that Crixie. Still, though, rest of the team coming on in. J-Jack not able to land the hook. The knockup is there. NT around the corner, but still not enough damage.
Those are the hardest hooks to land. The easy hooks are when people are running away from you or when people are running towards you. Once people start moving on a perpendicular axis, then it's very difficult to predict their movement and very easy to dodge. If you're dealing with a Grak, do exactly that. Move from side to side.
Well, J-Jack around the corner, tries to put out that hook, but he's a little bit short as Spirit Sentinel is started up here by Wildcard, and they will take it down.
J-Jack may be in trouble.
Oh, he gets hooked on back there by NT. He's got nowhere to run. And that's going to be the kill for 1-1 once again. He has both kills for his team.
Fortunately, killing the fat man in the bush isn't quite enough.
Well, no, he's mainly just there to be a CC bot at this point.
Yeah. When you get to the late game, Grak's HP kind of matters, how tanky
now if they get
matters.
Sun,
that would make a difference.
Yeah, Sun, again, coming into the jungle, a little bit questionable there, and he does get punished. Korea have 3 members trying to push up toward this mid lane, though. Looks like Wildcard prioritizing the top side of the map. Korea don't really know what to do. Instead, they're just trying to back off and clear out the minion waves.
This puts Chinese Taipei arguably in the lead, and definitely in the lead if they get this tower unscathed.
Well, that's going to be the tower falling on down, so get themselves some control toward the top side jungle of Korea. And they are going to be on the back foot to start things off here in Game 2.
Yeah, I really, really like this from Chinese Taipei. The fact that they're able to work this back speaks of their composure. We saw how bad they were feeling, how defeated they were feeling. Turning that around here and now is huge.
See their Chaser looking to clear out the waves. No members coming down just yet on the side. They're letting the tanks battle it out down here until they're needed for those fights. Both of these guys can be big disruptors when it comes to these fights during the choke points in the jungle.
Korea, by contrast, they have no pressure on them. They're a game up. This is the time where you try and find a free game. If you don't find it, we go to a game 3, then it's equal pressure all around. Here now, Korea are just looking for hooks, playing aggressive through the bush, finding nice stuns, trying to make plays and make us yell.
Oh, Chinese Taipei Wildcard did look at possibly the Abyssal Dragon, but they see Chaser is still down toward this bot lane, doesn't have anywhere to go. Hook is going to come back on in, not even going to use his ultimate until the very last second, gets the knockup, but the Wildcard team should be able to take a bit. He keeps getting a shield, TJ, but he will finally fall.
Valor is sometimes so hard to kill. During this time, Korea should have been doing something else with it. They were poking around mid, trying to find a good stomp combo like that.
They're able to dive underneath the tower. Hack, though, gets knocked on over, and now the rest of the team push on through. Tower goes on down, but at what cost for Korea? As Rush is taken down, another member close to falling themselves. They're able to land the hook. That is just not enough. In the end, TJ, it's going to be a 2 for 2.
And that's not really enough for Korea, but they do get the tower as well. That puts it at a narrow victory, arguably. The real problem, of course, is that all of those kills went to Hua Lin, who is getting more and more deadly as this game goes on. That will be very hard to deal with in the late game. Same for the Lindis, Zanyo. These 2 players are the players that were shut down so effectively by Korea in Game 1. Did he just steal that?
He just stole that one. He was close.
Maybe.
It was close.
He stole it from the production.
Yep, he stole it away from production. Korea are able to pick it up in the end there.
But the point is, anyway, those are the players that were supposed to be controlled. If you're able to shut down Zanyo, if you're able to shut down Hua Lin, that is major. If you're not able to do that, they're going to run away with the late game.
Well, you see, Hack now looking to go across toward the side. Deciding, though, not looking forward to those fights in the jungle. Like we mentioned, you've now got all this gold onto Hua Lin that once you have that AoE, if you look for these fights in the jungle, it can be devastating if you overcommit.
Oh, that's a good
they
hook.
get the hook onto 1-1. World Devourer, not going to land completely. Over toward the side, though. Rush gets taken on down. Sun, now the next member. A double hook coming out from NT. Double kill for the wild card. And J-Jack, he's going to sacrifice himself, but I don't know if Hack couldn't run away. Jack will fall. Triple kill coming out.
That comes from the Irie. He pops his Ryu ultimate right in the middle of 3-4 players, instantly stuns up so many people that he's just able to leave. The second he does that, all of Korea are left without a kill and no way to stop this encroaching wave from the side. They have multiple targets,
oh my
and Walin is doing that much damage.
7-0 right now on the Mage, and that is a little bit scary, TJ, but that is the main target for Korea. If they're able to land that hook, if they're able to burst him down, what does Chinese Taipei Wildcard really have?
I would say dive, but they don't really have that right now. They need to start finding major hooks and punishing them quickly, and I just don't know that they have the damage to do so.
Michael, I'm going to be taken here as they rotate on down. 10 minutes, 10-5, a 5,000 gold lead in favor of Wildcard.
So how this game can turn around for Korea is Chinese Taipei Wildcard struggles at times to close games. If they do here, Korea has an opportunity to get back in, but it needs to be the long game. It needs to happen at the 13-15 minute mark.
Abyssal Dragon going to be secured here by Chinese Taipei Wildcard as they get their first of the game 2. Darkslayer was also picked up, so now starting to get a lot of control throughout that river. J-Jack, though, is able to land the hook, and they're able to take down NT.
That's what I'm talking about. Find the punish. Find kills. Yes, it's NT. Yes, it doesn't even really matter that he dies to his team. It matters a ton to your team, though, because those kills are how you start to get your DPS back in the game.
10-6 now. Still, they're keeping up this pressure. Want to try and find some more picks. The issue here being, you know, for Korea, they like to keep their towers up. They've been able to defend them quite well. Sure, Chinese Taipei Wildcard were able to find these picks, but they found a lot toward the top lane, and that was really the only tower they were able to pressure. They were able to find one in bot, but still this mid lane tower stands pretty healthy.
Yeah, and this comes from Korea's lane focus and tower focus. Because Chinese Taipei are a little bit more objective-oriented, they haven't turned their lead into nearly as many towers as they should have, merely a spectacular gold lead.
Chaser getting pressured there. 2 members come up, but look at this. Korea looking to find the pinch up toward this top lane. J-Jack missing with that hook. You can just see the damage coming out here, TJ. That's what happens when he's 7-0.
Yeah, that man's rolling in a little bit of cash. And it's really paying off. The fact that you're able to build your mage out that far ahead will always do well, but when it's a Crixie, a character that is one of the highest damage ones in the game right now, you're going to do extra well.
Well, you could see that gold before disappeared. They have about 1,000 gold lead on every member of the team, sometimes even 2,000, especially in the mages.
Walin just bought Frosty's Revenge. That's going to give him a little bit of slow on all of his attacks. That's a nice World Devour.
They use it, but they just bring in Walin once again. He picks up another kill. NT actually intercepted the hook there to take that. If they were able to land it onto Walin, that could have been an opportunity for the fight, but it got turned. Now Korea are losing the objectives.
I really thought that World Devour would be able to turn into a fight, but they don't feel confident enough to go for it as a full-out engage, perhaps because of their current deficit. But either way, it's a little bit worrying because Korea play best when they are that aggressive.
NT goes for the engage. He will die, but Sun will fall. They're able to get onto the mage, though, and Korea finally find Walin. That's what they need to do.
Watch this crash.
But unfortunately, they can't really do a whole much more because Chaser now has to rotate back up toward that top lane. J-Jack is also there, not able to land the hook onto the Lindis. And I don't know if they want to go for this fight.
So Lu Yao, that entire fight on the crash, is trying to get behind them. The reason for that is because if he spends Metamorphosis and is able to push people away from him towards his teammates with the wave, they basically have the kill secure.
9-1-1 for Walin. Doing damage, but when he's down, that is where they have some difficulty because now they got to reset. They got to wait for the respawn timer. Meanwhile, though, Abyssal Dragon going to be taken as that's going to be their second one of game 2.
We're starting to see a little bit of damage coming through onto the Liliana as well. It's definitely still a deficit, but Hawk is starting to get his late game burst on the character, and that's what you need in order to come back into this game, is the capacity to punish when you find the major hooks.
Looking to clear out this mid wave. Korea have some time to breathe. They can't be too patient. You see J-Jack look to position himself, needs to get these hooks. Sure, you get NT, but he is so tanky at this point, you almost don't want to bring him into the rest of your team.
Yeah, maybe under the tower you can find the kill, but it's almost more trouble than it's worth, particularly when it's a Mina and you can get taunted, Dark Dominion. Oh, this is good though. Left off across the map. It doesn't matter that they don't commit to it, because what they do find is vision, complete knowledge of where Chinese Taipei are right when the Dark Slayer is about to come up.
45 seconds until he'll rejoin us. Still see, though, the pressure coming out from Chinese Taipei wildcard. They want to try and get this top lane tower. They've been putting a lot of pressure up there. Korea still looking to clear out the waves. J-Jack looking for the hook.
That's a good
brings
hook.
in NT, but that is the tanky member. That's not who you want. If Hawk can get some damage, if they're able to find it, that's maybe their opportunity. But look at that shield, TJ. You can't burst him down, and Chaser needs to back off. Heal comes out. Still, though, no member falls, but meanwhile, the tower in bot lane.
You say you can't burst through all that shield, but Korea gave it a good go.
They tried.
Especially with the Malik, that's true damage, meaning it ignores shield HP. So they were able to chew through his HP alarmingly quickly, and the hook actually works on the Metamorphosis Crashed. He's not CC immune, so that was very nearly a kill onto Liu Yao.
Spirit Sentinel gonna get taken down as Liu Yao sees the members of Korea coming around the corner, and he says, I do not want to deal with that. Dark Slayer now has rejoined us. Korea maybe gonna look for a fight. If they can find a hook onto one of these carries, there is the opportunity.
I'm going to be honest, this is Chinese Taipei struggling to close games. This is what we talked about. If Korea get this Dark Slayer, even just stall out so the Dark Slayer isn't taken, they become my favorite in the game because they've stalled out for long enough that they're on even footing again.
That's what happens, though. We tell a lot of tales where he gets caught out, maybe a little too aggressive, maybe playing a little unsafe, and he gets punished, DJ.
That's what Chinese Taipei need. Now they need to push further forward and find more value from it.
Look at this. Dark Slayer is going to be started up by Chinese Taipei wildcard. That's going to be their second one of the game. Now with the buff, TJ, what's the plan?
They've got to get one of these high grounds. If they get one of these high grounds, their place in the game is secure. If they're shut down, if they're isolated before they can properly take the fight, they win.
Uses his ultimate, brings back 2 members, but he was already so low, and 1-1 wants to go for the dive. They isolate the members of Korea as Rush will fall underneath his tower, and now the siege in the mid lane onto the high ground.
3 players currently down for Korea. Make that 2 now, but it still might not be enough to hold this game.
Chaser looking to run for his life. He's able to use his ultimate to get out of dodge. Sun just jumps into 4 members, but he's just going to get taken on down. He's stalling the minions, at least the members of Chinese Taipei wildcard, but they got minions in bot lane.
15 seconds on the shortest respawn. That's J-Jack, and they badly need him now.
They take down the Liliana. Chaser is not long for this world. The high ground now exposed. A minion in mid lane, and Chinese Taipei wildcard are going to be looking to tie up the series and take game 2.
Going to game 3 here is massive. You can see they're ecstatic, as they very well should be. Game 1 was so dominant for Korea, and Chinese Taipei very carefully put together what went wrong. We talked through the backline focus, and this time they have the tanks. They stop that from happening. They get their backline characters, their DPS, out ahead early and dominate the game with them.
See Korea there, they were looking a little puzzled. They said, okay, what happened that time, guys? Felt like the game just wasn't in our favor. And nice to see some smiles there from Chinese Taipei wildcard. So they're now looking a lot more confident than they did after game 1.
Do you think there's any more hugs from the coaches?
Well, no, maybe, see, that was the thing. They gave them too much good luck, TJ.
Game 3 is serious business. No more hugs.
It's very serious, because at this point, this is likely going to be the game that decides who's going to be getting out of the group at Seed 1. As we go ahead and take a little bit of a look at the action that took place over towards the side.
I think what we've seen throughout this entire game was what we look for when we see adaptation. It's all about the focus of these players when they're able to make changes like this, not just to what they're playing, but to their overall strategy. I'm so proud of them.
We saw they were able to pick off members. It was important that they did. Then, you know, Chinese Taipei wildcard, they were able to answer back. They were able to find members. I think a big thing for me was, you know, Sun wasn't able to make a large impact on that side lane. We really never really talked about that Max because we never really saw him in the action. He got shut down.
Yeah, there was a little bit towards the end where we kind of saw what the ideal for Max is, focusing down Zanyo, hard diving in, but you see like this fight, he spends it all trying to chase down Hualin, who just says, no, thank you. I don't want what you're selling.
I'm going to go ahead and take that triple kill. And then J-Jack, he brought in members, but he kept getting NT, and that's Amina that's saying, oh, you just brought me closer so I could hook the rest of your team.
And I love that we identified maybe you don't want to hook in the Mina, and then it did happen.
Multiple times. That was kind of the issue, and that's, you know, game 2 going in favor of the wild card. Now for Korea, what do you kind of look back on here? You can see the team. They were feeling confident. They felt great. They're like, all right, guys, we're still in this. There's still the opportunity for that first seed slot.
That looked like relief almost more than anything. This is a team that was on the chopping block. Now they're on even footing. Game 3 is what this is, and if you look back to game 1,
after the game 1, yeah, they did not look that great. It was pretty silent. They were questioning a lot of guys, you know, heads down. They just weren't happy with their performance.
Yeah, this is a team that goes from that to this.
To that, and they're a very energetic team because we saw during those promos, DJ, you know, they like to relax. They like to have fun. They're enjoying the LA area where Korea were the serious ones. They were the ones that were prepped. They were ready to go. Now you can even see that. They're saying, all right, guys, we can take a chance. We can calm ourselves down. We can come back here in game 3, but we have to execute it properly.
I want to see Korea deal with this in the draft. So much of what went super wrong for them was around the Metamorphosis crashed and particularly the Mina. They were never really able to break through those two frontline characters, and when they did, there was a much more cognizant job being done by the backline, Hualin especially, of staying safe, staying back, so that Chinese Taipei didn't lose their major damage dealers early on.
Well, it sounds like here we're going to be getting into our draft shortly. For Korea, opting to stay on the blue side. Now, they've actually swapped back on over. They were red side. Apologies there. So now, taking that back like we saw in game 1, having that draft priority. Do you really try and do this one again, TJ? Do you try and get that? I know you love them, but it just didn't work that time.
The Grak? I don't know, because I didn't feel like the Grak was the problem, but I definitely felt like they lacked a little bit of mobility. I definitely felt like Korea was struggling at times to really get into that backline and find pressure. One thing I'm curious is I want to know why we haven't seen Sun's Tara.
Yeah, it was hovered there. And I felt like if he wanted to play the playstyle he was doing in game 2, it might have worked a little bit better. Because the Max, like, we never saw the liftoff. We saw it once, actually, where he came in and joined in on a fight. At least once that we noticed.
Yeah, well, noticed is the key word there. He used it a few times, but it never found much of an impact. Well, that's not great for a Max.
No, like, you got to make those high-impact plays because, ideally, you're exerting pressure on the opposite side of the map, and then your team says, hey, we want to go for a fight. Are you willing to commit with this? We just didn't see it.
The thing about Max is he's not an instant trade for a Xennial. A Xennial is a teamfight ending ultimate. Because what it does is it heals, it gives damage reduction, and it adds another player to your roster. Max takes a little bit longer, and it's only a FedEx delivery. It's only an Amazon Prime service. You get a Max, but that's it. There's no wrapping, you didn't pay for the extra 2-day shipping. He's there, standard shipping, and in time as himself and nothing else. And if you're not able to find that connection, then it's much like the postman who leaves a package at my door and maybe a note that says, sorry, I missed you.
This sounds like a very personal story, TJ.
I had headphones that didn't come for like a week.
Okay, but getting back to the series.
Much like the Max, who wasn't able to find the connection with the backline throughout that entire set.
All right, poor Chinese Taipei wildcard. One of the players had to go regroup themselves, maybe go get a drink. It's been a long time over in the studio. I don't know. I've seen a couple of fans. I think there's...
super cool.
You get distracted sometimes, man, by some of the most random stuff. A fan! Wow! Oh my God!
That is a fan.
Hey!
Thank you for that.
I don't blame him. You know, it's pretty hot down here in California.
Especially
maybe some of the players...
lights.
Well, you know, down here in California, maybe some of these players aren't used to the hot weather. It's a scorcher down here. It's been a bit of a heat wave the past couple of weeks, so I don't blame them. I'm Canadian, I'm also melting, so I can relate.
Well, keep yourself cool, calm, and collected. We're into the draft for game number 3, the decider in possibly the most important match of the night.
All right, for Korea, what is the game plan? Do you want to go for the picks, or do you want to go with something that's worked a little better? The Teamy on blue side ban, though, coming on out.
Teamy, a consistent ban in this series. You just don't want to have that resurrection potential, particularly when we're putting so much emphasis on keeping the backline characters alive. This is a Grak ban from Chinese Taipai.
That is a lot of respect being drawn by J-Jack, even when he was bringing in members to possibly help Chinese Taipei, but they said it's annoying. And actually Korea, they said, all right, we didn't like your tank. We just don't like Mina now.
He doesn't slack. He's Grak, but he won't be back.
Oh, no. You have an odd way of getting those down, TJ. I'm always impressed. But again, the Mina ban coming out for Korea.
Yeah, Mina a little bit odd because Mina's not that good. But Mina was just played so well in that last set. We saw the Dark Dominions multiple times turning a team fight. It proved me wrong. And I like that Korea says, you respect our tank player well enough, you'll ban him. We respect your support equally.
Well, this one coming out here from Chinese Taipei wildcard would be banning away the Zenyul. That one now possibly setting up for the max pick on the red side, if that's what you're planning on doing.
So this leaves so much. I assume the final ban will again be a Superman. I hope. But this leaves so many characters that are normally banned still in the pool.
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of, there's going to be open season for some of these players because still a lot on the table if they want to go ahead and pick it up, especially for Korea. There's plenty of options. Like you mentioned, though, the Superman, not going to be around this time either.
Never have I seen a Superman in... There was a while during the boot camp where Superman was consistently getting through the draft, particularly Indonesia seemed to really like playing against him for some reason. But I'm not surprised at all to see that he's had a 100% ban rate so far.
For Korea, what's going to be the plan here? Hovering the Omen, a nice strong side lane that could allow Sun, if he wanted to go on it, possibly, to exert some pressure. We wanted to see him maybe on something a little bit more impactful. They're going to go ahead and lock in the Omen.
Omen, confirmed as a very good character for that team. We saw him on Chaser multiple times. Chaser pretty much dominated the game he was in on the Omen. And I said it earlier, I have so much respect for Chaser as a four-dimensional chess player. His brain is so big. When he's making plays, it's because his IQ is high. That's what I'm saying.
Chinese Taipei wildcard. Now looking at this, Alice would be a nice pickup, a good support, someone that can roam around, try and make plays, and actually going ahead with the Lindis once again.
And the Lindis was certainly very effective. If they get this Alice, I think that's a steal, because how much damage was Hua Lin doing?
It was a bit ridiculous.
Imagine the Crixie dumping into an Alice hissy fit.
Is that the possibility here? Does Korea take that away?
No. Because Crixie is a character that many teams haven't bought into yet. I very much doubt that Korea are willing to just run him on Hawk.
We'll see here. The Alice did get locked in, but that's now scary. That's a scary idea, seeing this now, because now for Korea, they got to be thinking that in their head. Do we want to go against that kind of combo with AoE? I feel like that this draft so far, it's Chinese Taipei. Yeah, that could get locked in. I don't think they can let it go over.
No, it would be such a good combo. I completely understand why you'd want to take Crixie away. My question is just, does Hawk over on Korea feel comfortable on the Crixie? She's a very, very difficult character to play because it's so much about positioning. So
this is interesting for me, TJ, it's Korea adapting during the draft. There's respect coming on in. This is something we don't see from this team too often. It almost sounds like, it kind of seems like they're scared. It feels like they're desperate.
This so regularly from Korea is just them playing their own game against Chinese Taipei. Wildcard here, they are adapting and respecting their opponents, and I think that's playing right into their hands.
Chinese Taipei, again, lock-ins rolling on through, and this is big for them too because they did lose 2-0 to Korea during the boot camp. Now just one game away for likely securing Seed 1 in Group C going into the knockouts. What does Korea need to answer here, TJ?
I guess they need a tank for Sun. It's again not the Tara, which we've been hyping up this entire time. and still have yet to see. Chaser needs to, I guess, get something for Rush. They need the jungle.
Yeah, a Violet could be an option here. You know, for Sun, maybe they just don't want to put him onto the Tara because he's been pressured so much by Chinese Taipei. Because, honestly, when teams isolate him, apply a lot of pressure, he doesn't do a whole lot on it into later on because he gets shut down early.
Yeah, I would argue that the Tara is a very isolated character, whereas Jargonar, you need to play with your team. Jargonar's major asset is how he can scout and use his ability to protect the team. Chaos Protection denies CC to an entire AoE field. So I don't think you're wrong. It may be just about not wanting to have the Tara shut down early, but also it may be encouraging him to play with the team, encouraging him to play as more of a team-like focused player. And I'm not sure that's to his strengths.
Well, Chinese Taipei wildcard going to lock in their final hero, going to be the Tulin the Mage. For Hualin, he put on a great performance in Game 2. We'll have to see whether or not he can replicate that in Game 3.
Welcome to the new meta. Crixie crashed. I'm excited.
Hey, it's especially when it comes to international events, when it comes to any game, you like to see a meta evolve. And it's really cool to get to witness that here firsthand in the day one, because you can already see teams adapting, seeing these new picks come out, and other teams taking note of it.
We want to see the adaptation mid-series, the respect Game 3, because it is Game 3. It is everything on the line for these two teams. The winner of this is basically guaranteed to get out of the group in first seed.
Yeah, pending any kind of massive upsets. Instead, there was just a handshake this time, TJ. No hugs.
This is serious.
They said, all right, we mean business. I'll give you a pat on the back, but you know what? We are enemies, and we are enemies until the end here as we get loaded on in for Game 3 between Korea and Chinese Taipei wildcard. Like you mentioned, this is likely going to determine who gets out of groups as Seed 1 in Group C, and that is very important when it comes into the knockout stage when you have to face another top-tier opponent coming out of a different group.
The other team in this Group C is, of course, Europe. And Europe is not a team that we expect to surprise there. They can, I don't want to understate them, but they've had to make a lot of roster changes. If they make an upset, it will be against the loser of this match.
And that's a possibility. So let's go ahead, load on into the battlegrounds for Game 3 as we try and wrap up this series. And who is going to take it home is the question. Either way, looks like a little bit of a delayed start here from Chinese Taipei. They're deciding to actually slowly start to go on the invade. 1-1, he's going to be, you know, forced out of the jungle, does have knowledge where Korea is.
Yeah, both teams solidly going for the invade this time. Neither one fully committing blind. Chaser running the bot lane. They move Sun to top and on the Omen.
Yeah, Sun, this time around, going to be on the Omen, so let's see how much pressure he can exert, because last time we've seen him, you know, a little bit more safe, a little more passive, and a little bit more punished, you could say. A lot of dives came in, especially during that Game 2 early on. Maybe on the Omen, maybe Korea will try and support him a little bit more toward the top side of the map.
The Crixie in mid is the character to watch. I think that Violet will be mostly protected on Rush. So pay attention to how much Hawk is able to find, and I think how much he's able to get pressure.
See Lu Yao trying to go toe-to-toe here in the bot lane. Gonna be your tanks battling it out. Do you see Korea maybe looking to position themselves in toward the jungle here? The Chinese Taipei wildcard. They're able to... I don't know if they actually stole that one away.
I don't think they got that buff, but or jungle camp, but it almost doesn't matter. Just the fact that they're providing that pressure wastes time for Chinese Taipei, and that in and of itself is worth it.
See J-Jack still sitting around this mid lane rush as well. Going to go back into his jungle and try and farm up. Unfortunately, no monsters available. You do see a ping coming on over for that Spirit Sentinel.
1-3-1 is the current setup for both teams. That means 1 top lane, 3 mid, 1 bottom lane. And both teams are running the most extreme version of that as we move into this Abyssal Dragon.
So Dragon going to be taken out there by Korea. It's going to reset, though. Do you see Chinese Taipei wildcard wanting to stick around? They don't want to give this one up. Still, multiple members said going up toward the top side, if they are spotted out here by Sun possibly, that might be the call here for Korea. J-Jack's slowly trying to take down this Abyssal.
Jack doesn't have damage.
He's trying.
He's an elephant, and he's trying his best. I appreciate it, but he doesn't really have damage.
Coming over to the side, it's going to be Abyssal Dragon going in favor of Korea, and maybe a little bit more as they're able to pick up first blood onto Sun.
And Lu Yao's overextended. He does barely have the mobility to get over the corner, but the same is not true for the battle that Sun is taking.
Look at that Sun, though. He's able to pick up a decent amount of damage onto 1-1, still pretty healthy. This is some good signs here for Korea to start things off, and also going to find the kill for Chaser and Bot.
Oh yes, those are good signs. All signs are very positive, as that's going to be a bot lane picked up, and Korea, when they're doing well, are finding towers like that.
Easy, it does it, and that's going to be first blood as we see the Abyssal Dragon.
Yeah, so much of this is Hawk's good positioning. Just look at him sitting right in the middle of the fight, completely unchallenged, pounding out damage from his Moonfall ultimate.
See Sun still applying pressure toward that top side. Picked up the first blood. Nice little start here for Korea, as they're now sitting about 1,700 gold ahead of Wildcard at 3.5 minutes. Still looking to pressure in toward that jungle. Sun not able to steal away the small monster, but you can still see that aggression. The team grouping up, providing a lot of safety around Sun early on.
Bot lane pressure still coming in. Chaser taking the role of insane aggression from the bot side.
He's going to see 3 members. What does Korea do on the other side of the map, or do they try and answer this? J-Jack is also here for the fight. Chaser gets his shield back, and that's going to be enough to force Chinese Taipei Wildcard to have to back off. They're actually needing to maybe back up a little more than they wanted to, because underneath that tower, the damage coming out from Korea.
This is what Korea do best, keep the tower pressure going. Sun was trying to invade, steal a buff. I don't think he got away with it, but the fact that he's trying again is what matters, because it forces defense. It forces individuals to play in positions they don't want to for the Chinese Taipei side, and every second that they're playing defense and not farming, Korea build their lead.
Hualin had to back off underneath that tower, going to actually back all the way home to base. And Korea, 4 members once again toward this bot lane, looking to see if any member of Chinese Taipei Wildcard to overextend.
Hualin isn't a terribly good target because of his high mobility, so they'll just settle for that Sage buff and maybe rotate back. I'd love to see this Abyssal Dragon picked up, but Korea as a team are not terribly concerned with major objectives.
Sun's going to rotate back up to top lane, but he's going to have to deal with 3 members of Wildcard. Gets stunned. Hissy Fit also coming on down. Does Korea make the call to go for this Abyssal Dragon now that they know there are multiple members of Wildcard up toward this top side of the map?
I don't think they dare with Lu Yao nearby, just because that Metamorphosis is such a good stalling technique. So if Lu Yao is even remotely nearby or basically not dead, he can come in, spend the Metamorphosis, stun up several, and slow down the fight to the point that it can be stolen.
See that damage coming out once again. The ultimate to use there by Rush. Not going to be able to finish off the kill, but that puts him pretty low underneath the tower. You do see the rotation coming on over from Lu Yao, wanting to help defend this tower. You can see the objective pressure coming out from Korea. They really want to try and take this mid lane tower to open up the midsection of the map.
J-Jack considering a cutoff. Juggernaut doesn't have a whole bunch of damage though, so it would mostly just be slows. So what he's doing there is just buying time and acting kind of as the bouncer, allowing Sun to have a private dance with that Spirit Sentinel.
He's going to go ahead, pick that one up for himself. And once again, Korea rotate back in toward this mid lane. J-Jack looking to be that front. The knockup came on through. They actually get the Metamorphosis out of Lu Yao. That's a cooldown that they'd like to have if a fight breaks out here quickly.
And they're going to keep pressuring. All these buffs picked up. Korea is just out farming Chinese Taipei 10-1.
And with that, Abyssal Dragon is still open up, but like you mentioned, that's not their primary objective, because they see all these members coming on over, even 1-1, cutting the wave in top lane.
And that's a lot of pressure, actually, from Chinese Taipei. They feel they're being out-farmed, so they do exactly that. Cut wave, pressure into the opposing jungle, find a few camps, and this forces Korea to play a little bit of that unneeded defense, a little bit of that defense that wastes their time.
Sun gonna rotate back all the way home with the recall. J-Jack still sitting up toward this top side. Like I said, a lot of safety came out for Sun in Game 3, and that's allowing him to scale very nicely on this Omen. You already saw some damage he could do. That's only going to get more and more threatening as the game goes on.
J-Jack, Rush, Hawk pressure in the mid lane will take this tower easily. Chinese Taipei should know that and should just be playing defensive here and pressuring elsewhere on the map.
Lu Yao going to be able to jump out. Sun still getting pressured up toward this top lane as it will fall. Ultimate also use their chaser onto the front here. NT looking to be a little bit more careful as Chinese Taipei wildcard deciding not to go for a fight. 4 members of Korea slowly making their way back on down toward this Abyssal Dragon as Hack actually looking to stay in that mid lane, try and keep the pressure up so no one from Chinese Taipei wildcard can answer this Abyssal Dragon.
Will be picked up. Rush successfully securing it while in the mid lane as the rest of the team just needs to play behind tower for now. Lu Yao has been baited out in front.
You see 4 members of Korea looking for this play. The Hissy Fit is a nice
that
zoning duo, and Rush will pick up the kill as they take him on down. The 3rd kill of the game for Korea. But look at top lane. Lots of pressure still coming out from Chinese Taipei wildcard.
1-1 won't be able to get this tower because it's being stoled up. Sun's taking fight versus Zanyo. He thinks it's more important than the tower, and he might be right. But that tower is gone.
If he picks up 2 kills, that's a lot of gold just added on to Sun. Oh my goodness, though. It gets turned around on him by 1-1. But meanwhile, now Korea, they're able to pick up the tower in bot lane. But 1-1 can now start whacking away at this high ground tower. What is Korea going to do? 1-1, he's taking the tower. Oh no!
He goes in too fast, gets executed by the tower completely for free. The big advantage of him staying there so long was that he was drawing recalls. Even though Korea had complete control, if he played that perfectly, he possibly could have taken down a high ground.
And that is a mistake, TJ. Think about that. If that's what costs you in game 3,
milliseconds.
That hurts.
I think what happened was his wave got staggered. The first minion was already underneath tower, but it was low enough that it died before the second or 3rd minions actually came in. So there was a tiny window where he was the only thing underneath the tower, and he got targeted.
That's gotta hurt. Having a possibility of a free high ground tower just slip away from you like that. Gonna hurt a little bit of the mentality, but hopefully they can recover. Sun now has rotated down toward the bot side. Looks like he's not willing to deal with 1-1, understanding that matchup, wants to try and isolate another member, but the rotations come on in. Korea looking for the top lane tower.
Here's the pressure. Lu Yao could be caught out. That combo, Crixie Alice. We talked through how viable it would be on the same team. Against each other, we're kind of seeing the Alice be completely ignored by the Crixie's range.
This, though, from Korea, they realize that no one from Chinese Taipei wildcard is really answering this. They know this has to be going on with Korea not being on the map at all.
Looking for wave clear.
They're going to go instead for that Abyssal Dragon. It's going to be the Abyssal Dragon for the Darkslayer.
They'll get the Abyssal Dragon, but the main priority right now is to get the waves pushed, because it doesn't matter if the other team has the Slayer if they cannot get to your towers, and that's why it matters that right now every wave for Chinese Taipei is in the middle of the map.
Chaser up toward the top side, looking to push that one out. Lu Yao is up there, maybe looking to set up a trap.
Watch this. He's going to ignore the fight and take the wave.
Chaser, he's got to realize something's up here. Does see the Lindis trap go on down. He's like, all right, I see. There's something fishy here.
Beautifully done, just fighting in the bush, sneaking out. But bot lane, they don't have that happen. Instead, they're going to have to take a proper defense.
You can still, though, see, though, a decent chunk of that high ground tower gets taken out, and Korea are looking to pressure. The poke comes on out. Hissy Fit is looking to just zone away Korea from the fight. Do they go for the fight, instead opting to back off? Sun goes straight back on down to that mid lane to push back the minions.
It can't be more than 30 seconds left on the bot.
Oh my
goodness. They probably lose a high ground, but they cannot lose more than that.
Shock goes on in and finds 3 members, TJ. Korea go on forward. Rush is able to take down the tower, and now the rest of Chinese Taipei wildcard will fall themselves. 2 members go down, 2 high ground towers it looks like it's going to be, and Korea are putting down their foot. They want to end this game.
That might be game. I don't think the respawns are quick enough. Korea might have just taken this set.
The minion is just out of range, though, TJ, and Korea can't end the game. Chinese Taipei wildcard, they get a break.
One more wave. I don't think the respawns are in time. 10 seconds on them. Their Sun not quite going down.
NT will fall, and so will the core. Korea take the series 2-1.
Beautifully done by Korea. That game 3 was perfect Arena of Valor from them.
and it was quite different from what we saw in Game 2, TJ. This looked like a much different team. This looked like, instead of a, second seed, third seed team, they looked like a seed 1 team.
And that's a team that absolutely should be playing like that. The aggression defines their playstyle. When they're able to pick up tower after tower, lane after lane, they're in control of the game. When they're just setting up kills for their opponent's carries like they were in Game 2, Chinese Taipei will obviously thrive.
You can see Korea, they got smiles, and even then, Chinese Taipei wildcard, they still enjoyed the matchup. It was a fun series overall, 2-1. A great way to start off day 1.
You cannot be sad about that. That was a great set, no matter what way you look at it. That's what I want this entire World Cup.
And the Abyssal Dragon fight that started things off here for Korea as they picked up first blood. It was a great start overall.
I love seeing this POV from the Crashed, because so much of that Crashed metamorphosis, the way he was controlling the enemy team, defined their team's holds. It was very effective in game number 1. Or in game number 2, rather. It certainly struggled a bit more in game 3, but I think that was mostly because there was the damage to chew through it, particularly from the Malik.
And a big thing I saw this game was Sun was protected early on. Chinese Taipei wildcard, they really couldn't do anything about it because they tried to exert a little bit of pressure, but Korea were able to defend him, and that allowed Sun to, get onto these side lanes, try and cut some of these minions and open up the map.
Changing him over to Omen, I think, was a very, very good choice, because it forces him and gives him the opportunity to play a little bit more risky and have the speed to disengage. On Charganar, I oftentimes felt like maybe he was just getting left out. He thought he could get away with stuff, and he struggled to do so. When he's not forced to play with the team, when he's instead able to do what Sun does best, play on his lonesome, find aggression, find value, I think he thrived, as did the entire Korean roster.
Yeah, I think the adaptation, is the big thing here for me, TJ, because Korea, we talk about them, they like to play their style. But now they showed respect, and it paid off. They got rid of some of the picks they had trouble with early on in the series. They played a little bit more differently. They played for those objectives, but also, taking the Abyssal once or twice, taking that Dark Slayer when it was open. That's just, I think, great play from Korea.
I think that shows kind of growth as a team, and I very much like that.
Well, that's it for me and TJ today. We still have one more series, but we're going to go ahead and throw it on over to Matt, who has our interview with the victor.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you, Opal. Great work from our guys taking us through those last 2 games. Great work from Korea, who get their first win of the World Cup over Chinese Taipei wildcard. Hacks, that must feel really good. You must be really happy with getting a win this tournament.
이번에 승을 가져가지고 되게 기분 좋겠어요. 네, 되게 상대방도 되게 강력한 팀이라서 되게 열심히 했는데 저희가 승리로 이끌어서 정말 기분이 좋은 것 같습니다.
The opponent is a very strong opponent, and so coming out with a win today, I'm feeling very, very good.
Yeah, we expected good things from Chinese Taipei wildcard. That was a really fun series, and we could see at the end of it, both teams have really enjoyed themselves, which is really good to see this early in a major tournament. Ask Hacks for me how he thinks Korea is going to progress through this rest of this tournament. We know they're top of this group. How far does he think they can go?
네, 그래서 이제 앞으로 한국 팀은 얼마나 멀리 갈 수 있을 건지 질문했습니다.
저희 한국 팀은 앞으로도 되게 멀리 나갈 팀인 게 확실하고 앞으로 시간이 지나면 지날수록 더욱더 이번 기회에 정말 세계 정상 자리까지 한번 얻어볼 수 있도록 최대한 노력을 다할 겁니다.
It feels like that he played very well, and then going forward, he feels like he'll be able to go very far in the team itself as well. Especially in this particular tournament, this opportunity, I feel like we'd be able to make a name for ourselves to be the top team.
To be the top team, that's what we should be aiming for. Congratulations, Hacks. Thanks, Joshua.